Check this out. Nothing. Whoa! This is it's this channel on YouTube Studio. Don't worry, I'm not breaking my rules of looking at YouTube Studio in between the times I should be. This is my now brand new twice weekly review period. So I'm not basically, if you've not been following this, by the way, welcome back to the vlog. I should say that at the start, apologies. If you've not been following this vlog, basically I got rid of YouTube Studio from this phone, how long ago? About nearly a week ago now, and I'm doing instead of like checking stats every 10 seconds nearly, I'm just checking them periodically throughout the week, once on Monday and once on Thursday, and it's Thursday now, so I'm doing it basically. So I do go through the Mark Ellis reviews one, obviously, but at the minute I'm starting with this channel because things are happening. Since I've started these vlogs, you guys are watching it, and well, the numbers are going up. This is really interesting here. Views are up, the watch time is up, the number of subs coming through is up as well. You know, these are small numbers compared to what the reviews channel does, obviously, but for me they're still big. These are 15 people have decided to subscribe to this channel. Amazing, and you guys are saying some lovely things about it, so we will continue making them basically. Now weirdly, it's 10 to 3, so this particular episode is starting more than halfway through the day. The reason for that is because today I've been working all day anyway, but it's a longer day because now every 2 weeks on Thursdays I do my normal day, and then I head home, had some breakfast, head home, have dinner, and then come back to the studio for 7 o'clock to do the live stream for this channel. So some of you who watch these vlogs will probably know about this. I've been doing live streams on this channel for quite a while now, and they were weekly, and then they just stopped, and I'm aware they just stopped, obviously. I did announce the fact that they were stopping on the channel, but I did say they'd be coming back in some way, in one form or another. I am rambling now. Basically, we're moving them to bi-weekly cadence. So every 2 weeks now, at 7 PM UK time and whatever time that is over in the States, we will be doing the live stream. I think weekly, I loved it. I loved doing it weekly. It's just a lot of work, and with a few things that are happening with the business now, which I will be able to kind of explain fairly soon, hopefully. Basically, we're doing a lot of stuff now. We're putting a lot of stuff in place now for the future, for growth, for all that stuff, and that needs to take precedence, obviously. And equally, there's a lot going on with the reviews channel, so the time to do weekly live streams hasn't really been there, to be honest. But I want to carry on doing them. Hence the 2 week thing. So that's the plan. So basically, today, in today's vlog, I want to take you on that journey of what happens when I come back here in the evening, because the other thing that I'll be doing every 2 weeks after that hour-long live stream is the 8 or 16 podcast. And again, some of you will be aware of that podcast. Rob and I have been doing it for well over 3.5 years, I think. But yeah, it's something which, again, I love doing. We do it every 2 weeks, and I just thought it would be interesting, hopefully, for you to see what happens later on in my day, on days like this. Anyway, coffee. Coffee aficionados will be laughing at me now because I've only just started warming my mugs like I just showed you. Previously, I'd get a stone cold mug like this and put it straight under the coffee machine and then put coffee into it, hot coffee, which obviously would turn cold way too quickly because the mug's cold. Crazy. Having said that, as much as I love this machine, and I do genuinely love this coffee machine, it's brilliant, I would not have it, it's still, well, it basically reveals what Brits like me are like when it comes to coffee, because literally every time I get a coffee out of this machine, I think, ooh, it could be a bit hotter. And I know if I've got any Italians watching this, you'll be head in hands, shaking your head, and I completely understand why, because you're not supposed to have piping hot coffee. It's supposed to be, well, I'm not sure what temperature it's supposed to be, but even if I set the absolute highest temperature on here and warm up my mug, it's still a bit not British, and I am trying. I need to do better. It's nothing against this coffee machine at all. It's all about me being British and having to have piping hot drinks. Sorry. Another British moan. It is, what is it, March the 28th of March, as we say over here, and I've had to put the heating on. It's nearly April. Why? You might find this interesting. So this is the list of comments, the most recent comments that I've received on the Mark Ellis Reviews channel. Apologies if there's any bad language in there. There shouldn't be, because YouTube's pretty good at picking up that sort of stuff and just binning it. But now, I know I'm talking about this a lot at the moment, but it is such a big deal. I've not looked at these comments since Monday. Yeah, since Monday afternoon. I've not even wanted to, actually. I've had no interest whatsoever in looking at the comments. This is so different to what I was doing before. I was literally every 10 minutes, if I'm being completely honest, unless I was driving or doing something where I couldn't pick up my phone, no laughing at the back, I would probably check YouTube comments and stats every 10 minutes. 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe. That's not good, is it, for anyone really? But yeah, this is the first time I've seen them since Monday. It's now Thursday, and it's great. So now I'm going to basically bash through these, reply to a few of them, heart a few of them, get rid of people who are idiotic. Yeah, I will stop talking about this, I promise, but it's just been brilliant. I recommend it. If you're a YouTuber, whether you've got a massive channel or if you just started, just set aside dedicated time each week, once or twice, to do this kind of thing. It's so much better. And take YouTube Studio off your phone, please. Something else I've invested in, which I've mentioned a few times on this vlog, but you've not seen it yet, this is not very exciting. I've just realised I've hit record, and this could be the most boring thing you've watched all week. But if you are watching it, then, well, what does that say? That says you care about this, which is what matters. So, what am I talking about? I'm glad you're enjoying these. Right, it's this. It's a car mount for this. So basically, have I just cut myself? A little bit, yeah, brilliant. The perils of unboxing stuff. It's basically a car mount, like I say, for this camera, because at the moment, whenever I film these vlogs and I get into the car, I just balance this on the dashboard, and we've had problems with sound, and it looks a bit rubbish, let's be honest. So I did used to have one of these, but it broke. Again, the perils of running a YouTube channel and using this gear properly means it does break sometimes. This one is a small rig camera mount thing, so I'm hoping it's going to last a bit longer than the cheap thing that I bought before. So this should mean, in theory, he says, that the sections of this vlog in the car will be better produced, or they'll look better, and more importantly, you'll be able to hear me as well. Weather update. Haven't done a time check yet, have we? It's 4 o'clock, in case you care. Weather, We get this weather in the UK, which is just nothing. I don't know if you get this in your country. If you're in the UK, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I threw all that stuff on the floor for comic effect, and then it's immediately annoying. Yeah, if you live in the UK, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But we get this kind of weather, which is just nothing. So there's no wind, there's no rain, there's no sun. It's just nothing. It's completely depressing. It's like that today, interspersed with rain and wind. We had sun this morning, which was nice. But yeah, there you go. So, got the car mount. That's good news. I'll be using that in a minute. Just going through comments still and stuff like that. The other thing I'm going into is Medium. I'm going through all of my Medium comments and checking those out. It's good fun. I like it. I do feel genuinely like I've got over that hump of not having YouTube Studio on my phone. I think I've done it. I think I've successfully ditched it. I genuinely do, honestly. Okay, that's the first session in the studio done. All good stuff, all fine. It's been well, what has it been today? It's been one of those days where I haven't made a video, not even short form, unboxing stuff. It's just been wall to wall business planning stuff, some really exciting stuff that I can't talk about at the minute. It's all about how this business could potentially grow and the things that we can do to make it grow, and the people we need, the stuff we need, we can kind of hone in on. And I want to say more, but I can't because we're still talking about it. But I will, as part of this vlog, you will hear more, I promise. But anyway, enough of that. So it's been mainly business planning type stuff really today, which has all been very exciting. Also, what else have I done? Finished yesterday. In fact, I have done some video stuff. So I did the rest of the edit for tomorrow's video, which I'm really, really happy with. There's a bit of acting involved, a bit of tongue-in-cheek stuff going on. By the time that you see this, you've probably, it should be on the channel, to be honest, on the reviews channel, obviously. It's all about the S24 Ultra. Well, the video is about the iPhone 15 Pro Max, but the S24 Ultra has this kind of cameo throughout, which was a last-minute addition completely. I freely admit that the kind of thing, the theme running through it was completely intentional, and it was there from the start. But the way that I've worked the S24 Ultra into that video was very much last minute, but it's worked out really well. I am waiting for some footage to upload. It's still taking its time. I'm going to have to leave that to it. We're going to have to leave that to do its thing. That's fine. Leave all that as it is. Good stuff. Yeah, so now it's my turn to go and get my son from nursery, which I absolutely love doing because he gets so excited when you get there. He doesn't always spot you at first because he's too busy having fun with his mates and stuff. But I should say my son is nearly 2, so he's still at that age where you're the best thing since sliced bread. So when you turn up, it's like, whoa, you're here, Dad, yay! I'm under no illusion that does stop. I know at some point I'm just going to be annoying and embarrassing and all that sort of stuff. So trust me, we're making the most of this time now. So that is my thing to do now, which is absolutely, without question, the best part of the day. It really is. I have a really cool job. I cannot complain about my job at all. I do sometimes, as you know, but I can't complain about it. But even this job pales into insignificance when it comes to the role of being a dad and having a very young son who seems to be very fond of you. He wakes up and the first thing he says is, "Dad," which Jen, bless her, she puts up with, but I think she's waiting. He's basically stopped saying mum. His first word was pretty much mum, but he now refuses to say it. Again, I know it will come back, I know, but I'm not gloating. I'm not basking in this at all, I promise. Okay, let's figure out this car mount. They're normally pretty straightforward, to be honest. The great thing about the DJI Osmo Action 4, which is this camera, is that it has, someone walking past wondering what I'm doing, talking to myself, it has a magnetic mount, which means you can just mount it basically onto this, like that, and then you can very quickly detach it. It's incredibly handy. It's why I love DJI stuff. Okay, let's put this on here. Ooh. There we go. That feels good. Let's loosen that. Put that on here. As I always say, if you're still watching this, you are brilliant. Tell your mates how amazing this vlog is. There we go. Right, you're on. You're on. This is going to be much, much safer and better for everyone, hopefully. Let's do that. Make sure we've got some decent framing going on. And there we go. Nice. That looks alright. Okay, while I'm driving to the nursery, just a very quick update on the studio, because regular viewers of the Mark Ellis Reviews newsletter will be aware of this, that several weeks ago we had the opportunity, completely out of the blue, this wasn't planned, it wasn't something we were thinking about doing, but we had the opportunity to move studios and go for a different location. And the reason this opportunity came up was because it was too good to miss, or seemingly too good to miss. The place was basically down the road from where we live, and off-road parking, proper parking that was dedicated to that space, which is something I'm absolutely desperate to get. More importantly though, it was 3 times bigger than the current studio, and better security. Not the security is bad where I am, but it was even better. And also, even more importantly than all of that, dead quiet. So away from the main road, neighbours were very quiet. It just looked perfect. And like I say, 3 times bigger. And the cost, the price, looked very, very tempting. And as a result, there were loads of people interested in it, along with us. We went to look at it, and to cut a long story short, we ended up, or we thought we ended up, being the lucky ones who got to go for it. Then the contract came through, and the price of the rent on the contract was completely different. It was basically £500 more a month than was advertised originally on the Facebook ad, which alarm bells perhaps should have been ringing earlier on, maybe, I don't know, but regardless, the contract was more than what had been advertised. And to cut another long story short, we basically had it out with the agent and with the landlord, and we were promised they'd get back to us, and it all just went very quiet and disappeared. So we just chalked it off as experience, got very angry and annoyed about it, as you would do. But we just chalked it off to experience and thought, well, actually, we weren't looking for a new studio anyway, so whatever. A few nights ago, Jen, my girlfriend, spotted that the exact same unit had reappeared. You know where this is going, don't you? Had reappeared on Facebook at still a slightly higher price than what was originally advertised, but less than what was on the contract. So she texted the current tenant, who she knows now, and said, what's going on? And to cut another long story short, that tenant was completely in the dark about what was going on. They had no idea why we had just vanished from the picture. She was really upset about that because she needs to move out because she's outgrown it. And she thought we were a great tenant. The landlord met us and they thought we'd be a great tenant. They picked us out of loads of people who were interested because they loved the idea of what we were going to do with the place. And it turns out basically that it's very unlikely that the agent will ever watch this video. I won't say who they are. But I don't care saying this. It turns out that the agent had basically told the landlord, or got wind of what the landlord had advertised it for on Facebook, and said, oh no, that's way too much, you should be charging this for it. They did that, got rid of us unceremoniously, and then put it up for this higher rate, and no one's interested, literally no one. They've had no viewings, it's just gone completely dead. So this poor person who is currently in that unit and has outgrown it and needs to move for her business is stuck. and she couldn't believe that we'd just been cast aside. So anyway, to cut a long story short, there's a chance, a fairly remote chance, but there's a chance it could come back on. And I say it as in become a potential thing again. I say a remote chance because we are playing this incredibly cool. I'm in no rush to move, it still isn't in the plan really. And I'm not impressed with the way the whole thing has got played out. So my warning signs and my alarm bells and stuff are ringing still, which means I won't make any snap judgments with this. But equally, it's a very, very interesting place. A really interesting place. When I went there and walked around and checked it out, I was excited by it. I was excited by the potential. It's a completely blank canvas. You know, it would need money spending on it. So apart from the fact that the rent is more than what we're paying now, you know, we'd need to invest in the actual space itself. And it's not our space. It is in, you know, we'd still be tenants. We're renting it. We don't own that place, so we'd have to bear that in mind. But it is interesting. It is really interesting. So I'll keep you updated, and it kind of ties in with everything I was talking about earlier with this big stuff we're working on, which is very exciting. So yeah, stay tuned. Apple Maps has taken me a really weird way to the nursery, and the reason I'm using Apple Maps is because in the area in which I live has been a nightmare constantly for roadworks and road closures and stuff. You never know which way to go because you never know which road's going to be open. So awesome. But it does give me the opportunity just to mention very quickly that the other thing I'm doing at the moment is filling out a visa application for a foreign trip which is going to be happening next month in April, and it's one hell of a visa application. I've never filled out a form like that in my life. I will take guesses as to where I'm going down below. Get involved. Which country am I going to? There's a lot of fields to fill in, put it that way. It's also getting incredibly dark, and it's looking like it's going to absolutely throw it down. And I'm only wearing a t-shirt because I'm an idiot. Brilliant. Oh, here comes the rain. Child acquired. Didn't get too wet either. Harrison, you're on the vlog for the very first time, sort of. What do you think about that? He doesn't care, to be honest. Anyway, home, a bit of time with the family, and then back to the studio. I've just realised that for continuity reasons, that edit isn't going to work. Apologies, Niall, because I think I was in the car a second ago, not wearing this coat, and it was about 2 hours ago. But I've since been home, had dinner, spent time with the family, and now I'm going back to the studio. So yeah, still bombing around in this little Mini, which is awesome, absolutely awesome. I've not driven a manual car for ages, and I love driving. I'm a big car nut, and I'd forgotten how much I love manual gearboxes, particularly when they're as nice as they are in this Mini. If you've ever driven a modern BMW Mini, I say modern, this one's about 15 years old, as in not the old Mini, the old Mini, although they were great as well. It's just such a lot of fun to drive. It feels like you're doing 1,000 miles an hour, even though you're absolutely sticking to the speed limit. I am genuinely sticking to the speed limit. Sticking to the speed limit. Dear. I need to get my mouth in gear, really, because now I have two sessions of talking a lot. So the first one is the live stream for this channel, which we're going to try and do every other Thursday at 7 PM UK time. And the other thing is the 8 or 16 podcast, which like I said, we've been doing for nearly 4 years, I think now. I'm doing one after the other, live stream, and then 8 or 16, which I haven't done before. And yeah, interesting. By the way, this video isn't sponsored by these guys. I think you could probably just see that logo on that bit of footage. That was just me getting out the car. But this is it's Banks, obviously. And it is a set of iPhone 15 Pro Max cases for a sponsor integration, which I've got to film tomorrow. Do I tell this story? I think I can. Alexa, turn on the studio. Can I tell this story? I've got to be so careful about the things that I share on this vlog because there are contractual things, and this isn't really contractual. This is just me being an idiot. I can tell the story. So basically, what happened was the next sponsored video was for Banks. So Banks had the spot, and it was all about the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So I did what I always do. Wrote the blog post, we published that. I then turned that blog post into a video by sitting there and waffling on about it. In fact, if you were watching the vlog 1 or 2 episodes ago, I think it was the last episode, where I just randomly decided to do the A-roll. It was like a moment of inspiration where I thought, let's just get it done. I did. And it's the one that I was talking about earlier, actually, the one with the cameo from the S24 Ultra. And I was really pleased with it and started editing it and thought, yeah, this is great. This is going to be a good video. We were waiting for these Banks cases to arrive to do the sponsor integration. No problem with that whatsoever. The only problem was that while I was editing that video, I realised that throughout most of the video, the iPhone was in this Spigen case, which Banks aren't going to be happy with. They can't sponsor a video for an iPhone where the iPhone is in a completely different brand's case for most of the video. That's not going to work. That's a conflict of interest. So I sat there and thought I could cry about this now. I'm going to get my camera and stuff set up because I don't have long. I could cry about this or come up with a solution, and it's entirely my fault. I should have taken the iPhone out of that case, but I didn't. No use crying over spilt milk, and the video is too good to get rid of. So I didn't want to reshoot it and do all that because it wouldn't be the same, basically. So I made the executive decision to publish the video tomorrow without a sponsor and do a completely different video for Banks, which will be just as good, obviously, but it's an extra video that we hadn't planned to do. So it's a long way of telling you that these things in here will appear. Well, basically, I need to film that video tomorrow with that. Shouldn't be too difficult, thankfully, but what an idiot. It's not the first time I've done that either. Okay, so the setup for these live streams is really straightforward. It's more straightforward than it should be. The reason for that is basically I have this Shure SM7B mic here, which for some reason, unbeknownst to me, and I genuinely haven't got the time to work it out, will not work with this very expensive MacBook Pro. It did work, then it stopped, and I cannot fix it. I've tried different audio interfaces, everything. Nothing seems to fix it. So anyway, so for that reason, live streams are literally just the laptop, and then connected to the laptop, we have the Sony A7 IV. This is my B cam normally. So when I when I have a video that has me talking to the camera, and occasionally it cuts to another angle behind that camera. That is normally this camera here, but I use this camera for live streams just because it has a really nicely built-in live streaming feature. So that is connected to this, and that's it. And then we use StreamYard, which is down here somewhere. So if I go to StreamYard, I've got all the streams set up in here. I start the one for this evening's stream, and away we go. It's as simple as that. And I do have, as you probably just saw, just a few notes about the things I want to talk about. So today I'm going to talk about the new bi-weekly cadence for these streams, these daily vlogs for people that aren't aware. And then I'm going to talk about, again, giving up email and giving up YouTube Studio, because I haven't talked about that on the live stream. That's it. It starts in just under 15 minutes, so I need to get ready for it. But it's quite straightforward. Once I've done this, as I say, I then need to get very quickly set up for the 8 or 16 podcast, which does need that mic. I'll explain that setup after this. So you guys are now on the vlog. So I'm now live streaming. So this feels a bit weird because I don't know who to address, but that camera is obviously people watching the live stream, and this camera is people watching the vlog, which is really confusing. I'm going to have to turn this one off in a minute because it's mind-blowing what's happening here. But yeah, live stream, vlog, live stream. Perhaps you can be friends, who knows. Sorry, just eating a biscuit, emergency biscuit. So, just finished the live stream. Went brilliantly, really enjoyed it. A good bunch of people on. I hate it when people are eating and talking and filming at the same time, apologies. But now it is, well, I've got 30 seconds before we crack on with the 8 or 16 podcast. So very quickly, slightly different setup, same camera setup, Sony connected to this, StreamYard. The difference is the SSL2 audio interface that goes into here, and then the mic that I mentioned earlier goes into here. And when I said that it's not working with this laptop earlier, it is working, but it's not working through StreamYard. So it's working insofar as I can use Logic Pro to record it, but I can't stream with it. It's really annoying. Anyway, I'm late for Rob. Let's crack on. Done. That's... Wow, that's what's happened to my voice. Excuse me. Hang on. You do so much talking in this job. That's live stream and 8 or 16 done. It's now 9:15. Definitely ready to go back. What happens now is that on StreamYard, the video and audio files are now being uploaded to StreamYard, so I can then download them. Weird way around, but it does that for a reason. And then send all of the stuff to Richard and Niall, who will then sort it out for YouTube and the podcast network. I leave that to them these days, and they do an amazing job. So, yeah. Will this work going forward? I think it will. I mean, it's been a long day, but it feels nice to have got, in the nicest possible way, to have got these both out of the way. So to have got the podcast and the live stream done in one evening. It means that it's done, basically, so that's good. So, yeah, 9:15. I just need to get that footage uploaded and head home. So, as always, guys, if you've been enjoying this vlog, and all of these vlogs, if you've been keeping up to date with them, thank you. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Tell your mates, tell anyone who might find this stuff interesting. Give me a thumbs up and get involved in the comments. Ask me questions. I'm keeping a very close eye on the questions below. So, yeah, great. And there you go. That's it. Job done. Day finished. It's a bank holiday tomorrow. It's the Easter weekend in the UK. So typically we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday off. I will be working a bit. Will I tell the story in a vlog? Maybe. There might be an episode, there may not, I don't know. But regardless, I'll catch you in the next episode. Cheers.